Good morning, students. I hope so. You are doing well. Today, we are going to start our new chapter, that is acids, bases, and salts. And this is fifth chapter of your book. Before starting our chapter, I want to tell you something that this chapter come under the category of, or we can say branch of, chemistry. Okay, mainly your science subject divided into three main category. First is your physics, second one is your chemistry, and third one is your biology. This is the three main category of science. The chemistry is the study of matter and its properties, and biology branch related to the study of living organisms, which related to its different kind of process, functions, and etc. etc. And come to the physics. This related to the study of mechanics, which somehow related to your machines. Okay, so your chapter acid, base and salt come under the branch of chemistry, and we are going to study about this. In this chapter, we are mainly focused upon word acid, second one is a basis, and third one is a salt. That what is acid, what is their property, what is base, what is its property, and what is salt, and what is its property, and how they form. So let's get started. First of all, we start with our acid. I'm writing some food name, and you have to tell me the common thing you observe among this food. First is a lemon, second one is a orange, third one is a curd, fourth one is a tomato, and fifth one is your tamarind. Okay, so have you tasted this thing ever once in your life? Obviously the answer is yes. You taste this lemon, you taste orange, you taste curd, tomato, and tamarind also. Your tamarind is mainly known as imli. Okay, so now if you observe carefully about the taste of this food, you will notice that they all are sour in taste. Sour in taste. And the sour taste of this kind of food is usually due to the presence of particular type of chemical, and that chemical name is your acid. So here we can conclude that the food material which are sour in taste are normally contain chemical substance that are acid, or we can say they simply contain acid. Now we will discuss that which kind of acid is present in this kind of food. So let's get started. First of all, here I am writing your food, and this is your acid present in it. So first of all, we will discuss about our lemon. This food contains citric acid. Second one, your orange. Your orange also contain citric acid. Okay. And third one is a curd, or we can say dahi. It also contain acid named as lactic acid. Fourth one is your tomato. And it contain acid which is your oxalic acid. Fifth one is your tamarind, which is your imli. It contain tartaric acid. Okay, and many more substances, or we can say food, present in our surrounding which contain an acid. Okay, so here we are normally discuss some of the food which contain acid. All food substance contain different kind of acid. You can say it clearly. Since as the word acid somehow come in your mind that it is quite harmful for us. Okay, but usually the acid which are present naturally, just like lemon, orange, curd, tomato, tamarind, they all are present naturally, and we were very well aware about the thing that natural thing never be harmful for us, so they are harmless for us. In fact, they are useful for our body for their various kind of body functioning process. Now move further about the acid. Since your acid have been categorized into different kind of category. First category is your mineral acid. We usually classify our acid on the basis of their sources and their properties, or we can say their behavior. So on the basis of that, we have our first kind of acid, that is a mineral acid. As its name suggests, mineral. These kind of acids are obtained from the minerals which are usually present in our environment. Example of such kind of acid we have hydrochloric acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, third one is your nitric acid, Okay, so these three acids are the acid obtained from the mineral, hence they are named as mineral acid. One thing more you have to remember here, the chemical formulae of this acid, since these acids are widely used in our laboratory for various purposes, so we have to remember their chemical formulae. So let's get started. First, your hydrochloric acid. This is your HCl. You have to keep this thing clear to your mind that while writing chemical formula of hydrochloric acid, your H should be in capital letter, C also in capital letter, and L should be in small alphabetic letter. Again, H, C are to be in big alphabetic letter and L should be in small alphabetic letter. Now move to our next acid, that is sulfuric acid. The chemical formula of sulfuric acid is H2SO4. H, subscript we have 2, S or O have subscript 4. So this is H2SO4, H2SO4. Now move to our next acid, that is a nitric acid. HNO3, HNO having subscript 3. So this is the chemical formula of nitric acid, this is of a sulfuric acid, and this is of a hydrochloric acid. Chemical formula is very important and you have to remember this. One interesting thing which I want to tell you here, that your sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is known as king of chemicals. King of chemicals. So just add this information for your as extra knowledge. Now move to our next type of acid, that is your organic acid. Since all naturally occurring acid, all naturally occurring acids are known as organic acid. I am repeating again that all naturally occurring acid are known as organic acid, as we have already seen earlier that these acids, they are naturally occurring acid. So these all acids are known to be your organic acid. Your citric acid is organic acid, lactic acid is example of organic acid, oxalic acid and tartaric acid, and many more. Since these acids are occur naturally, so we collectively termed as a organic acid. So this is the example of your organic acid. So for example, I am writing some of the example here. Lactic acid, your citric acid, your oxalic acid, tartaric acid, and many more. Okay, so now move to our next category of acid, that is a third category, which is your strong acid. Strong acids. As the name suggests, it will be a strong in nature. So these acids are very reactive in nature. It means it reacts easily with any kind of substance, or we can say chemical substance present in your nature. Hence, these kind of acids are very reactive and they can show their acidic nature very readily. Very readily means very fastly, without any kind of delay. So example of such kind of acids we have is your HCl, that is your hydrochloric acid, and your H2SO4, that is your sulfuric acid, and your nitric acid, that is a HNO3. So the hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid is the example of mineral acid also, and it is the example of your strong acid also. Okay, one thing more I want to add it here, that first two category are classified upon the sources of the acid formed, or we can say obtained. As first acid is obtained from the minerals, so they will be named as mineral acid, and these are the acid which are naturally occurring, so they were termed as organic acid. But the third one category, or our next category, are depend upon their property. Property how? Since strong acids are very reactive, so these acids are very reactive also, and at the same time they are obtained from the minerals. So your first two category are categorized upon the sources, that on which sources they are obtained, and your third or fourth, fifth category are depend upon the properties or the behavior of acids shown. So let's move to our fourth category, that is your weak acid. Since as the name suggests, it is quite weak in nature. Okay, so these kind of acids are very less reactive. They are very less reactive, and obviously they will show less acidic nature, or we can say as they will show acidic nature very slowly. So let's move to the example also. So example of weak acid, we have your acetic acid, carbonic acid, your citric acid, your lactic acid, and many more. So here we can normally say that your organic acid which are occur naturally, they are weak acid. Obviously we have already discussed here that these acids are harmless for us, and here also we are saying that they are weak acid, they are less reactive. So yeah, example of a weak acid you can also learn as the example of organic acid, that is citric acid, lactic acid, oxalic acid, tartaric acid. These all are also weak in nature, weak in reactive, and that's why they were harmless for us. Hence they all also come under the category of weak acid. Again I am repeating that we categorize these upon two bases. Firstly their sources, so that's why these are the example of our organic acid, and second here we categorize on the basis of the behavior, that how they behave with other substance in the environment. So that's why they were also become example of your fourth category, that is your weak acid. Now move to our fifth category, that is the most important category also, you can say your concentrated acid, and diluted acid. Okay, so let's get started about this. So first of all I want to tell you something about that your acid are normally present in powder form, or we can say packing of your acid is normally powder form and available in the plastic container. Okay, if we want to make it solution, so we mix this powder form of acid with the water. So just remember that when you want to use acid for laboratory purpose in various kind of experiment, you have to make their solution, and which can be made by adding acid with water. So this will give you acid solution, or it mainly in your liquid form, as water is your liquid. Okay, now on the basis of the amount present in your this kind of solution, we categorize this solution as concentrated acid solution, or we can say dilute acid solution. So in case of concentrated acid, if you add acid in large amount as compared to water, when we add acid in large amount and water is in lower amount, that kind of acid we named as concentrated acid. And on the other hand, if we add acid in less amount and water in large amount, then we named acid as dilute acid. Again, let's take the help of a diagram. Suppose this is the acid, let it be in powder form, that is placed in your plate, and this is your water, and this is my container where I have to prepare my acid. Let it be a HCl acid, HCl in powder form. So if the case when I add this HCl in large amount like this, and your water, okay, here you can see it clearly that your acid is in large amount and water is in less amount. So in this case we call acid as, or we can say acid solution as, concentrated HCl acid. Okay, now move to our second case. Let I have the same case where your HCl acid and your water, and I have a container here where I have to prepare my acid solution. But in this case I take the acid in less amount, like in this, and then I take the water in large amount. So in this case your acid solution is said to be dilute HCl acid, dilute HCl acid. Okay, in both the case we prepare hydrochloric acetic solution, but the difference is in their concentration. Here acid are in more concentration, and in this case your water is in more concentration. So always remember that when your acid is in large amount, or we can say in more concentration, then we named acetic solution as concentrated HCl solution, or we can say acid. Now on the other hand, when your acid is in less amount, or we can say your water is in large amount, in that case we termed our acetic solution as dilute HCl acid. In this case I am taking the example of HCl. In a normal way you can say that concentrated acidic solution and dilute acidic solution. So this is all about your concentrated and diluted acid. One thing more I have to added here that your concentrated acid are highly reactive and corrosive in nature. So you have to be very safe while dealing with concentrated acidic solution. Okay, so whenever you handle the concentrated acid in your lab while doing experiment, you have to be very safe as it may cause severe burn, or we can say more burn as compared to the burning of your heat. So that's all about for today lecture. In next class, we are studied about our base, that is your next chemical substance. Thank you and have a nice day.